Hello, my loves, and welcome back to Can't Stop Talking podcast. I'm so excited for today's podcast episode because I actually got questions from my audience that I am going to answer on the podcast. I chose two really juicy ones today. And then, as if you guys like this episode, I will keep answering these questions for the future. So just message me your questions on Instagram and they might get picked for the podcast. So I'm so excited. So let's start with the first one because I've actually seen this question asked from my private clients and in my mastermind and in DBA. And so I know it's something that a lot of people go through. And I just think, everyone needs to hear the answer to this. So this audience member said, something I see in all my clients is the feeling of pressure to bring in more cash ASAP. And despite already taking the action necessary, like creating good content, they still feel like they're not doing enough. I just put in air quotations, but you can't see. Therefore, focusing on tiny things that's easy to control, like how can I write the best call to action, or should I reply to people in the comments so I look like a leader? And of course, this I'm missing something or I'm not doing enough energy is not ideal. And if you feel like you're doing all the right things and something's missing. So her question really is like, what do you do when your clients want this quick cash injection and they feel like they're taking the necessary actions, but they still don't feel like they're doing enough? And I feel like we've all been here, right? We've all been here where we're like, okay, this has to be too good to be true, right? Like, I feel like in this coaching industry and in this online industry in general, we get shocked because we're like, whoa, it really gets to be this freaking easy. Like, we pick up our phone and we make money. Like the F is going on, right? And so I think in this day and age, it's just like shocking that our business can be so incredible, that you could be so in love with it, that you could work. Like I try and find work. Like I love working. I love working on my business, but sometimes I only need, 5 hours a day on my business. Like truly, I am that person who feels like I want more, I want more. And the truth is, you don't actually need that much to run a successful coaching business, right? And so most of us think like I must be missing something because it doesn't feel hard or exhausting or like I'm working enough. But I am here to tell you that it gets to be this easy. We've just been implanted with this rule from society that you need to work hard and money doesn't fall or money doesn't grow in trees. And, you have to work 5 hours a day and 9 hours a day. Newsflash, that was actually created by Nixon. It was created by Nixon, and he was the first person to have the 5-day work week and do 9-hour days. I think it was Nixon, but I know that one of them started this. But yeah, that's where it started. It wasn't like, a fairy came down to earth and was like, this is what you guys have to do in order to make money. No, he decided that he wanted everyone to work 5 hours a day. And then unfortunately, everyone listened to him. And if I could go back in time, that's probably one of the people that I would, talk some sense into. So, yeah, that's where it got started, you guys. Insane, right? And so the cool thing after knowing that is like, oh my God, we have been programmed to believe that we have to work so hard, but working hard doesn't actually equal dollars, right? And so the first thing that I do want to say is when you feel like you're not doing enough, right? If you can answer these questions and say, yes, I'm doing this, then you are doing enough. Ready? If you are posting every single day, it could be once per day or multiple times a day, and you can post on, the same post that you made, you could post that on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, right? If you're posting every single day, if you're going on your stories and selling every single day, if you're coaching your clients every single day, and you're nurturing your community, you are doing enough. And then for the month, if you are going live, maybe twice a month and you're putting on a free masterclass every other month, then you are doing enough. And so if you answered yes to all those questions, it's not that you need to do more. It's one of two things. It's either you need to refine more and keep doing those things, right? So what happens is maybe you're doing the right things, but you're not doing it in the right way. So maybe you're just posting whatever you want, but it's not actually content that's converting your clients or growing your Instagram, right? You're just posting pictures of your dog, or you're just posting, pieces of content that you think is working, but there's no actual strategy behind it to make someone say, oh my gosh, I really want to sign up with that person, right? So maybe you're posting content, but it's not powerful and there's no strategy behind it. And so even though you're posting once a day, no one's listening because it's not grabbing their freaking attention and making them want to work with you, right? And so you might be doing the right things. You might be going on your stories every day and showing yourself on a walk, but no one cares if you're not actually giving value and explaining why they need to be in your program, right? If there's no strategy behind your posting behind you going on stories, the way you coach, then it's not actually moving the needle. So there's a difference between taking action and the right action. So maybe you need to refine more, right? Keep practicing, get the right strategy, invest in that coach who's actually going to, help you create that powerful content, those powerful stories. And that's what's actually going to move the needle. Or the other thing is maybe you need to do more of those things. So, what happens actually is that people try and do a strategy for a week or a month and they're like, nothing's working, right? I heard somewhere that it actually takes 3 months to see the effects of a new strategy. So maybe you just implemented something and your audience is watching. They're not all of a sudden going to be like, oh my gosh, I want to hire her, right? I mean, maybe some people will, but it's going to take them seeing you implementing this new strategy for a little while for them to catch on and be like, wow, something's different about her. I really, really, really want to work with her. Right. And so you might just need to be doing it for a longer time. And I always talk about this that in this day and age, there's so many people online who are like, oh my gosh, I started this business yesterday. Now I'm making $6 million. Right. And that's great and dandy, but that comparison effect is making you feel like you should be further along. In reality, amazing things take time. The person who I bought my first ever coaching course from, she was incredible. She had, a company of 2 years where she was making millions of dollars already. However, she just ended up shutting down her business because she felt like she was back at a 9 to 5, right? So she was doing all the right things and making money, but she didn't like the process of what she was doing. I love my process. I love all I need to do is create powerful content, show up powerfully on my stories, post my podcast, my TikTok, whatever. But everything I do in my business, I love it and it doesn't take that much time. And I would want to do more of it, right? I've been doing this for 3 years and I have no plan of stopping. So that's one thing. If you're looking at the grass is always greener, right? It's not always greener. And the other thing is, I just think people forget. Like, for example, Jeff Bezos, it took 9 years for Amazon to turn a profit. 9 years. He could have been like, oh my gosh, this isn't at one point he had to downsize and he could have been like, this is not working, and throw in the towel. And now 9 years later, he has a bajillion-dollar business, right? Imagine if I told you, if you just stay in your business for 9 years, it will be as big as Amazon. I bet you would be like, okay, hell yeah, I'm going to stick it out. Like I'm staying, right? I'm rich. Exactly. So good things take time. My favorite creator, I always talk about her, Amanda Francis. She is the reason that I got into coaching, but she talks about her course, her first course, she got 4 people in, but she knew. She was like, this course is going to be everywhere. Like she knew this course was going to be incredible. And so even though she got 4 people in, she was like, I know that it's going to take time for people to like understand that I'm incredible and they should get in my course. And that same course, however many years ago, I think it was like 10 years ago, now literally makes her millions of dollars. Like now she gets like 400 people in every time she opens up enrollment, right? That's because she saw the longer vision. And with Amanda Francis, I always say like she showed her income on her stories one year and it was like she made 0 the first year, she made like 500 the next, then 10,000 and then maybe 50,000, I don't know, and then 500,000 and then now it's 10 years later and she's making $1 million and she's one of the biggest creators in the industry. And it's that long game, right? It's I'm building an empire. I only want clients who are building empires. They don't want that quick fix, right? I'm not the person who will give you that quick fix. I'm the kind of coach that wants people who are like, I'm in this for the effing long run. And I know where I'm going and that people are going to, know my name one day. Like, that's what I want. We're building something that's going to last. Because if you want to just make money, you would have stayed in corporate America and climbed the corporate ladder. So things take time. Alex Ramosi always says, like, volume times time equals skill, right? You got to do it a lot of times for a long period of time. That's just how it works. So patience is key. But let me say, after 3 months, if nothing's happening, I would definitely say that you need to refine your strategies. The other thing that I see is that most people have a really high cash month, right? Because they've been doing something for 3 months and it's working and they have a high cash month. And then the next month they dip. And why they dip is because they stop doing all the easy things that they were doing before that got them to that high income month, right? They decided that they needed to do more. They needed to make it, bigger and better and, come out with a new course, and they stop posting and they stop, putting out powerful content, and they stop, selling powerfully, and they go in a new direction, a new strategy, because they think to get to their next goal, they need to do more. When actually you just need to keep doing the things that you did the last month to get you where you are. Let me just take a sip of water, my loves. So next, if you're doing all these things and you're like, I have it down, I've refined, blah, 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 and I just feel like, I still have that feeling of like something's missing or I'm not doing enough, then that means it's an energetic problem, right? I always say to my clients in a launch, if you were just like doing, and at the end of the day of, a day in your launch, you're like, oh my gosh, I could have done more, that's an energetic problem. Because that's lack. If you feel the feelings of I need to do more and you've done enough, when you've done enough in order to sign a client, then that is coming from lack, right? So if you've ever said, if you're constantly saying, I'm not doing enough to make sales, that's what's going to happen in your reality, right? And so we need to add that embodiment piece. If you are, showing up on your stories, except in the back of your mind, you're saying no one's going to buy, people can feel that. People can absolutely feel that. Energy is so freaking real. The confidence, the way you show up, your authority, that's embodiment. So you could be doing all the things. That's why two people can have the same strategy and they're doing the same exact things, but one person, the strategy is working for, and the other person, it's not. Why? Because the second person isn't showing up and embodying and knowing that the strategy is working, that they are meant for this, right? That you need to be in their program. And it can't be faked, right? I absolutely could talk about my signature course, Dream Business Accelerator, till the cows come home, because I am fully obsessed with that course and I back it. I'm like, I'm giving this course away for an incredible deal for what you get. But I'm also just like, the women in it are incredible. The way I run this is incredible. The content, like the person you are going to become, like, I wish I had this course. And when I speak of it, I'm like, you can feel this isn't a lie. Like, this is like, I fully backed this course to my core. Like, I just feel that way. And if you are not feeling that way about yourself, right? If you don't think that you are the most sought after coach, if people should be in your containers, if the way you move, the way you sell, the way you teach, the way you coach is like incredible, and you are the Taylor Swift or the Beyonce of the coaching, industry, then that needs to change. This is why in my programs and my coaching, we really, really focus on mindset and manifestation and energy, because that is huge. I've had clients go from 0 to 7 bookings overnight because we got rid of a limiting belief and she was able to get behind her product. I've had clients go from $2,000 a month to $2,000 a week, not by changing her strategy, but by changing her confidence behind herself and her product. This is huge, and this is where people are leaving out and they're not getting it, and they're saying, I'm not doing enough. But if you change that to I'm doing enough, I'm always doing enough for the right ideal client. People would be lucky to pay me to be in my containers, right? That's a different effing energy, and people can feel that authority. Honestly, this one shift is going to change everything for you in your sales. Now, let me make this clear. You might be in a slump right now, and you might be thinking, like, I just don't feel that way. And what I want to say is you can get yourself to that place even if you're feeling that way, right? That is what manifestation is. Even if you don't believe in yourself right now, if you feel like an imposter, if you don't feel like you're good enough, you can completely reprogram your brain to feel like you are incredible, to be confident, to feel like you are the most sought after coach, right? This confidence for me, I wasn't born with it. I made this ish in every part of my life, right? There was a part of my life I always talk about where I didn't feel good in my own skin. I didn't feel pretty. I didn't feel confident. And I looked at myself in the mirror every single day during COVID and I said, you are pretty. You are gorgeous. I love my body. I love everything about me. I love the way I move. I am magnetic. And I didn't believe myself, right? I just kept saying it. I kept going to the mental gym until one day my reality started showing me it. The 3-month rule, right? Do it for 3 months. My reality started to conform. And I had people saying back to me the things I was saying to myself. Oh, you're just lucky because you're pretty. And I was like, oh, what? Oh, you're just confident. And I was like, oh, what? Like, these are the things that I said to myself to build myself up. And so, even if you don't believe it right now, you can get yourself to that place of like, I am confident. I am incredible. My products matter. My business is amazing. Everything comes to me. I am magnetic, right? I am everything that a client would want, and people are lucky to be in my space. You can build that up even if you don't have that now. And trust me, that skill is going to take you a lot farther than any effing strategy will. I went to Penn State, as you guys know, a party school. And one of the biggest things I learned is like, we weren't Harvard, right? But we would go for the same jobs as Harvard and we would beat the Harvard kid. Why? Because of we had the freaking confidence and energy of like, I'm good enough. We had the personality, right? We went into the job interviews like, you should hire me and this is why. It had nothing to do about what we knew, but how we acted. This is huge. So that's what I will say on the if you feel like you're not doing enough, it's either that, maybe you aren't doing enough if you're not doing the stuff that I said, or it's that you need to refine more and keep doing those things for extended period of time, or it's that you need to embody more. Okay, so the next question is how to get people into your masterclass. So I love this question because whether it's free or low ticket, you still need to try and get people in, right? And so I think where people go wrong is they're like, okay, it's free, and so they should just want to join because it's free. When in reality, time is the most valuable resource we have. So we need to really explain to people why they should be giving up their time to come to your masterclass, whether it's free or low ticket. So you sell low ticket actually very different than high ticket. The way that you sell low ticket, instead of aspirational vibes and like this is who you're going to become, we really want to show our audience what they're going to learn and what they're going to take away from either that free or paid masterclass, right? So in 90 minutes, we will, right? And how I do this is I'll just create a story slide that says like, in this masterclass, we're going to cover, and say if it's selling the DMs. In this masterclass, I'm going to teach you how to sell in the DMs. That's what most people say, just how to sell in the DMs. I need you to take a step further. They want to know why, right? So you are going to add this powerful language so you can. So in it, you're going to say, I'm going to teach you how to sell in the DMs so you can get rid of sales calls forever, right? I'm going to teach you how to sell in the DMs so you can close 80% of your sales, right? That's different. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, that's why I'm coming. This is what I'm going to learn there. Now I understand what's going to happen from me going to that masterclass, right? And so I want you to create a story slide and use that powerful language of so you can. And then when people start opting in, ask them, like, what do you want to learn in this masterclass? They're going to tell you. And then you could add that to the masterclass and make a new slide saying, this is what you're going to learn. And it's going to be, maybe someone said, like, I want to learn, how to, I don't know, get them into the DMs. Then you could also add that to the masterclass. You are going to learn how to get people from your stories into your DMs so you can get rid of sales pages forever, right? Now you know what your audience wants, so you can add that, and then people are going to start joining. So the other thing you want to do is obviously add FOMO. As someone signs up, you want to show people, like, people are signing up, even though it's free. People are so excited about this. And the third thing is your excitement matters, right? This is what people forget. With these free masterclasses or low ticket, you need to be like, this is incredible. Like, this is amazing. Back to that embodiment. Like, this is why you're going to want to join. Like, I would have wanted to be in this. Like, are you kidding? This is freaking free. Like, this is a no effing brainer, right? You need to get behind your product again. And then you just want to show up everywhere. I think that's the biggest thing with masterclasses. It's the eyes. So, show up on your stories, show up in your content, talk about it on your podcast, TikTok, in your broadcast channel, wherever you have, but keep talking and give yourself enough time. Most people are like, you only need 3 days. No, I would give yourself 2 weeks if you want to get enough people in the masterclass, right? As many people as you can. And so really just talk about why they should be in it, right? How this masterclass is going to change their life. And then, like we said, volume and time. Talk about it and really have that specific messaging. The next question that she asked, and this will be the last question, is how to get people in your one-on-one. So if she was talking about through the masterclass, then I would get people into the masterclass who are a perfect fit for one-on-one. So have the, title of the masterclass that they're joining be something that someone in one-on-one would want. So for example, for a mastermind or for, let's say a mastermind. If I'm trying to get people into a mastermind and the mastermind's for the person who wants 10K months, I'm going to make a masterclass on the person for the person who wants 10K months. Or if your coaching is for the person who wants to get to 5K months, make a masterclass for the person who wants to get to 5K months, right? And so then you know that they're qualified leads. And then at the end of it, you're going to pitch to them, I have this incredible one-to-one offer, and give them, an incentive to join on the masterclass. If you just want to learn how to sell your one-on-one coaching because it's not selling, then this is what I would say. So if you've been trying to sell it for weeks and you're frustrated that no one's buying, you're like, what the hell? Where is everyone? That's totally okay. Been there, and these are my incredible tips. So 1, you're probably selling people the car before test driving it, right? So what I mean is private coaching could be a big commitment to people. So instead of selling private coaching, sell something like a Voxer day, a Slack day, or a one-off session with you where they get to see what working with you is really like. I've had countless people upsell after a Voxer day to 3 days of coaching, not to toot my own horn, but like I've had people who just came into that Voxer day. They're like, oh my gosh, I got more out of this than 3 months of private coaching. Like, what do you have next? And then they just upgrade to my mastermind, right? Also, if you'd like to do any of my Voxer days, just message me on Instagram and I would love to help you out. We can do anything from your messaging to your content to your launching, anything, right? Your Black Friday deals, whatever you want. I got you, babe. Okay, so next, your messaging is probably too vague, right? So you're using fluffy words like dream life, abundance, wealth, love, happiness, instead of actually painting the picture of what that looks like, right? What do these words actually look like when you describe them? So for example, if you're talking about the person, right, maybe you're a love coach and this is for the woman who wants to attract love in their life. That's what you wrote. All right, but very big, vague, very bland, right? I don't really see anything. I'm not really feeling any emotions. Instead, I want you to write, this is for the woman who is sick of watching TV alone while endlessly swiping on Tinder till her thumbs hate her and are ready for a family tale, Courtney and Travis type of love, right? So that's different. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can really see myself. Like she gets me. I was scrolling on the couch, on Tinder, just waiting for my Prince Charming and he's not here. Like she sees where I've been at, right? And so it creates a strong emotional connection in their head, which ultimately gets them to buy. If they know that you understand their pain, they know that you can, bring them to the other side, right? And so the third thing and the last thing is your page is all educational content. So that's great, but it also makes you no different than YouTube and Google. You still need educational content, but we also want to put in that authoritative content, right? In your transformation. So I want you to instead talk about your own transformation at least 3 times a week. People want to work with someone over someone else in the industry because of their story, the way they show up, their embodiment, right? So remember, from all of this, I want you guys to know that private coaching is a luxury, right? It's for that person who wants to go all in. It's exclusive, right? And it's the highest, offer that you have. And so that's okay, right? If you've been doing all these things and you're still, not getting those private clients in, it takes time, right? So, which means even if you're hearing radio silence, people are watching you, right? And they're saving up to work with you. And so use these tweaks in your content, in your messaging. And I promise you, you will start to get inquiries and people reaching out for private coaching. But remember that it's for the 1%. And so it's not for everyone, right? People save up all the time for their Chanel bags. So if you need any help with that, like I said, I would definitely do a Voxer day with me or Slack, whatever you like. Yeah, that was it for the podcast. I really, really liked this episode and the way that we did this. And so if you have questions or you loved this episode and want me to do more, please reach out to me on Instagram. I love talking to you guys and just want to hear your input. And so, yeah, I love you guys so much. I hope you have a fabulous weekend. It's 1:30. I'm about to go put on my bathing suit and tan and go to Costco after that. Exciting, amazing day. So I love you guys. Rate this podcast. Please, please. I would mean the world to me. I love you guys so much. Mwah.